Alright, welcome back to this part. So this time we're actually going to get into this. We're going to start building it. But before we start building the trees into this area, the first thing we need to do is I want to put a backdrop. I would like to add a backdrop, and we're going to put it, and it's going to cover this whole area right in here. We're going to cover the wall, and I'm going to put a mountain scene in the backside so that this tree forest we have has something to back up to. So we're going to start with that, and let's go see what we got going on for that. Okay, so now we're in my workshop here, and what I did was I printed out a backdrop. This is 16 pages worth, and all the pages connect. They all go together, so we'll end up having to cut off these white borders, and we'll cut these together. Now, where I got this from was some software I got from a place called lrcproducts.com. It's CDs with all kinds of backdrops and buildings to print out, and I can print these over and over and over for as many as I need. I like them a lot. I think they're very good. So that's what I did, and I printed these out. This actually turns out to be a little over 8 feet long once we put it together. I do this because I think it's a better deal than buying the pre-made backdrops. I've done that too. This ends up being cheaper in the long run because I can print out as many as I need. So what I have here is I have the backdrops, and I have a paper cutter. So we're just going to take these and we're going to start lining these up and cutting them off. Okay, so here we go, and it's important we keep these in the right order. So we're going to start with this one. Just like that. I'm not going to worry about the top and the bottom just yet. That's all going to be taken care of later, so let's just continue through. Alright, so now these are all cut. So now the next thing to do is to attach these all together. Okay, now to attach these together, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first one, so this one here, and then the next one in line, we just got to figure out which side it matches to. So this one goes to this side like this. Just like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to tape these pieces together, but from the back side. So what I've got to do is we're going to take this, flip it over, we're going to put a piece of tape here, half on, half off, and put one in the middle, and then one at the bottom. Okay, so now we have our pieces of tape here. So now we're going to start at the top. We're going to start lining this picture up. You want to keep them as tight together as you can. That one's not quite right. I think we're going to start with the road in the bottom here. I want that to line up right there like that. So we've got this right here lined up. And then we'll make the rest match. Like that. Just like that. Now we have a larger picture. And then we'll go on the back again and we'll tape the rest of that together. So that's the first section together. So now you can see how that goes. Okay, so now we have a larger piece. And then we just keep working our way down. Everything should be working this way to the end all the way through. So now we do the same thing again. Put a piece here. Piece in the center. And a piece at the top. Okay, and then we're going to line this one up. We're going to find our alignment points. Like that. See, now if you look at this, we're a little bit off at the top and the bottom, but you're not really worried about that. What you want is your picture here, these points to line up. Flip it over. And we'll keep on going. Now you'll notice some of this stuff here, right in here, doesn't match exactly. That's because when I printed this, it wasn't quite long enough. So what I did was I printed a couple extra pages in the center and just added them in. They're close enough where it's not going to be a problem. Trees will cover in front of this and you won't notice it so much. And it'll work out fine. The important part is that this horizon line is constant. Okay, so there we go. That's a little over 8 feet long. So now you can kind of see what we got going on. So there's the whole picture. And we're starting out over here. And we're just going to move down through the whole thing. Just like that. And that's what we end up with. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to back this up. I'm going to come back down here and we're going to cut off the sky. Right here, we're going to start with this. Now the reason we're going to cut off the sky is that we already have sky painted on our wall, so we don't need to add this, and we want all the sky to look the same. So what I'm going to do is I have a brand new X-Acto knife here, and we're going to cut right along this edge all the way across. We're going to follow this, and we're going to follow this horizon line all the way back through, all the way to the other side. And then we're going to also lose a whole bunch of this bottom end because we can't obviously fit all of this in there. So then we're going to need to go cut this to height size. So let's start by cutting this off. Alright, so there we go. Now it's all trimmed in the height. So this is ready on top side, is ready to go on. So the next step now is to fit it in there and figure out where on the bottom we need to cut this so that it fits in there properly. So let's go set up in there and see where we go. Okay, so what we needed to do is we needed to fit in that space. And that space is not that big, so we need to get rid of, we need to get this to fit up in there. This has to go bye-bye. Alright, so we're going to start it at this end. And because we have a highway in here, we have this highway right here, okay? And in our picture, we have some highway roads in here as well. So I want to make sure I put those in there. So let's move this up here, and then we can start this. I'm going to start it actually past the highway a little bit. So there's the idea of what we're going for. So obviously I think I'm going to trim this down a little bit further, but that's the look we're going for. Like that, and then we've got to obviously trim it back over on this end. So I'm going to do this off camera because it's just easier, and I'm going to trim this all up and get it to fit, and then once I get it to fit, I'll show you the next step to get this installed. So alright, so turns out I had to cut this into sections. So this is the first section right here. 8 feet long, going around the corner in a small space just doesn't work. So what I did was I cut this into smaller sections, and I'm gonna show you how the process of how to glue this piece down, and then I'm just gonna do the rest. So this is cut into the size I want already, and we're just gonna come over here and I'll show you what. Okay, so what I have is for glue is I'm using this stuff right here. It's I don't know if you can see this or not. Super 77 from 3M. Really good stuff. I'm going to spray this on the back. Alright, so we're going to spray this on the back. Put a nice coating on there. Don't want to get too crazy with it, just a light coat. And then we'll let that sit for a minute, and then we'll pull it up into place. Okay, so now we're just going to fit this into place here. Be careful not to drag it through the dirt and stuff on top of here. And carefully pull it into place. So there you go, there's the first piece in place, and that's the process of how that goes. I'll get you a little closer. Now if you notice in front of the road sign there, or actually not in front of it, but behind it, I have a mirror. And the mirror here, I covered with the backdrop just behind here so that the border between the two is covered with the sign. So you have the effect of the road going through, and you still have the high backdrop here so that it looks like a lot more than what it is. And then once we tree up the areas on both sides of this, all of this areas here will disappear and nothing will show. So that's how that works. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of it. See, this brought us. Now you can see why we cut the sky off, and yeah, I do have a few wrinkles in it, but I've still got to press that down a little bit more. But that's how that goes. So there's the corner, and now I just need to match up the remainder of it to come down this other side wall. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, same process, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so there it is. I'm coming a little closer. The end is here, but we'll take care of that when I do the next section over here. So that's where we're going to end for this. So this is what we end up with. Now the bottom where it's blue, I'm not going to worry about that. I'll probably just hit that with a little brown paint and let it blend in with the ground scenery. And there you go. And that brings us right into our other backdrop right over here. And then we'll heavy tree that with some taller trees, and that should blend just fine. So there you go. So that's the backdrop done. Like that. Okay. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you a little bit. So until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.